Welcome. We are back another day in the market, and quite the crazy day. The SPY and the Qs closed relatively unchanged. The Russell had a pretty red day. Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto kind of slowing down a bit, but individual stocks definitely made some crazy moves today. So we are going to get all into that. EVs are getting absolutely destroyed right now. Hot stocks had a good day today. And chips had a great day. Save had a really bad day. Fun had a really good day, but then it turned pretty rough. And Weight Watchers got crushed. That was a put swing alert to premium members last week. It was down 17%. The stock was down 17% today. The puts have gone up hundreds of percents. So there's definitely a lot to cover. We're going to be getting started. Some crypto, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was in a range. Technically, it's back in the same price of this range. And there was a swing. I alerted on Bitcoin last week and it failed. So it was in the Discord. You can go see it for yourself. It didn't work out. Fortunately, we had two really good Bitcoin swings last year. I alerted one literally at the exact lows on Bitcoin, and that obviously did very well. And then I also alerted the Ethereum swing pretty much right when it broke the 200-day moving average right here. And that also hit its third target, all of its targets actually. So Bitcoin did technically a fake breakout. It looked like it had the breakout here, it back tested it for 2 days, and I kind of bit myself on the tongue, but I posted on X like 2-3 weeks ago, Bitcoin ETF, buy the rumor, sell the news. And so far, that's like literally what happened. And, I try to put my own little buy the rumor, sell the news common ideology for trading out of the way for a second when I saw this breakout with the back test and the volume growing, and it just kind of didn't work out. So now it's back in this range, but we delete this for right now. Actually, we can keep it on. One thing I do want to kind of start charting out is this demand line. You haven't even gone down to test it, but you were really holding that nicely from the end of October until you got away from it in the beginning of December. And you can also connect a supply line on the top. And it seems that, at least for right now, this is a pattern starting to form on Bitcoin. Ethereum so far is looking pretty well technically. It had this ascending triangle, it broke out of it, and it spent the last 4 to 5 days really retesting these previous highs / resistance as a support successfully. And the volume was much larger on the breakout than it has been on the pullback / back test, which is a good sign as well. So I think Ethereum still looks pretty good technically. And then the SOL swing, this one never got stopped out. Now the stop was 84.69, as you can see right here. It came down to about 86.80, and now it's back in profit, thankfully. I'm going to actually extend out that supply line so it's touching the wicks of the candles. And if we do look at it like that, Solana is back at the alert price, well, $1 higher technically, but still relatively in the same area. And retesting a breakout, it still has the hidden bullish diversions. I still really like this chart as long as it holds 85 bucks. So that's your quick update on crypto. Quick look into other markets. The 2-year yield broke under the 4.27% key level. It's actually retesting these lows from the end of last year as a high for right now. And then the 10-year is retesting the 200-day moving average and the 4.07% level. You can see this high and these lows as a resistance. Moving over into the dollar currency index, 200-day moving average is being tested. Nice rally off of the support. Quick look in metals. Still just this big triangle for silver. And gold actually tested a breakout but couldn't complete it, getting towards the end of this triangle pattern. Finally, the Hang Seng Index harmonic did not play out, and it looks like, if we go over to monthly time frame, it is set to retest the ultimate trend line that's held for 26 years. It's about to retest it for the 5th time. The last time was literally 2022. So about to be the 5th time in the last 26 years that the Hang Seng Index tests its ultimate support. And if that breaks, things could get ugly. So that's how the other markets are looking. Let's move into stocks now. Should be a quicker update on the overall markets today. Starting off with the SPY and the Qs, here's kind of the dilemma taking place, all right? There's a lot of 50-50s and a lot of coin flips here. The SPY was able to make a higher high, but because it made a higher high, and now it's classic bearish divergence on the RSI, and it's very clear. You also kind of have these hanging man candles starting to form. You got to follow through with the doji candle today. So you're starting to see that. You have made a higher high, but your RSI went lower, which is bearish divergence. Now, if we look at the Qs, you technically don't have bearish divergence because you didn't make a higher high, but in general, it's not good because it made a lower high, at least for right now. So there's really a 50-50 taking place right there. Today was actually a decent volume day, despite the doji candle and the almost flat close. If we go over to lower time frames, you have classic bearish divergence on the MACD and the RSI clear as day because of that higher high. So a lot of bearish divergence, but you're above a key level. Look at these highs from over here, you're above it. So every time frame, every single indicator is kind of giving different readings right now. Even if we look at the 1 hour on the SPY, it looks like a broadening wedge with a potential partial rise, which is bearish. But if we go over to the Qs on the 1 hour time frame, it looks like an inverse head and shoulders with hidden bullish divergence. Bullish. So you were just seeing a bunch of mixed variables on the Qs and the SPY. The key takeaway is it's a make or break area. I could have just kind of said that and moved on, but I wanted to give a little bit more of an explanation as to why that is so. And then moving on to small caps, which are underperforming. You did a decent job of holding this 192 level for the past 2 weeks, but unfortunately that broke today, lowest close since December 12th. And maybe the next support should be the retest of this white trend line you see here. So that's really the quick update for the market. The ARK ETF, thankfully I marked that swing a break even. It was up like 10% and came back down to the alert price. Now it's even lower after I marked it a break even. I'm going to delete this for right now, like all of it, and really chart this zone right here. And you can see that it was a very, very, very good chance to break out, and you just couldn't. This historical kind of ceiling on the ARK ETF, the only time you broke this was after the COVID crash for about 2 years. You were able to break above this ceiling for 2 years after the COVID crash. But for the rest of ARK ETF history, just have not been able to get above like the mid 50s. And that's happened once again. So now it's pulling back kind of on lower time frames. I'm sure it would look like a head and shoulders pattern. I'd say that this 4730 was a key breakdown. So keep that in mind, and that's really the overall market. Now let's talk about really everything. Just a quick flash update, everything going on in separate parts of the stock market. Let's start off with EVs, and do that without starting off with Tesla. We've seen a lot of back and forth on X with Elon Musk, which a lot of investors are not too happy about. You know, a lot of people who love Tesla love Elon Musk, but a lot of people are also not too happy about a lot of the comments he's been making recently concerning the ownership of Tesla and how he kind of sets aside his projects and how Tesla is a variety of businesses within one, whereas other car makers, especially EV car makers, are just one business. But nonetheless, Tesla had a really decent chance of breaking out of this major falling wedge. We go over to the weekly, an inverse head and shoulders, and for right now, none of that is working, unfortunately. There has been a steep sell-off for Tesla in the last few weeks, dropping about 20% right back down to this key zone historically. You can see the major highs and lows here from the past, and this is really the theme amongst most EVs right now. We're going to go take a look at some others right now. EVs are getting absolutely destroyed, and they have been for the past few weeks. So to those of you who watched my last video on my channel, no, it's not just Fisker. Almost all of them are getting really steep sell-offs. So looking at Tesla here, being under the 200-day moving average, not so good. If you really want to kind of just draw what is potentially there, I guess there is potentially an inverse head and shoulders if Tesla can successfully remain above this zone. But you'd have to start pivoting and reversing here. Looking into similar names, the first one to look at is not technically an EV, but they sell cars, Carvana. And if we look at the top here, pretty much December 19th, you look at the top on Tesla, a little bit later, but relatively around December 19th, you were pretty much or near your top. And really, in this almost month-long period, I can't believe it's already the 16th. This is going to be one of those years that flies by. I feel like everybody was saying last year flew by. It was really slow in my opinion. I feel like this year is going to fly by. It's already 16, already more than 2 weeks in this year. It feels like it was New Year's yesterday, but we've seen most of the EVs really topping out around here. I know some of them topped out a lot earlier, but I'm just saying in terms of their recent swing highs. And Carvana's another name. We can do a quick technical look on this. I mean, again, if you really want to stretch it, there could be the potential for an inverse head and shoulders here. If you start pivoting as well, you could get some MACD hidden bullish divergence. So that's Carvana. Somewhat has that inverse head and shoulders on the daily. On the weekly, it's very clearly there as well. You just kind of could not confirm a breakout on the weekly for Carvana. And this was one of the best swings that I released last year. I alerted Carvana as a swing. I'm not even joking, right over here. And the third target of the swing was literally right here. I'm not even joking, it's in the Discord. For any of you who weren't around back then, there you go. The Carvana swing from December 1st. Literally took a month and hit all 3 targets. But now it's pulled back after hitting the final target. And this weekly inverse head and shoulders, very similar to Tesla like we just looked at, is in jeopardy if you can't start pivoting soon. All right, we'll look into some smaller EV names. Why not get started with Fisker? If you want more of an in-depth take on Fisker, go watch the last video on my channel I dropped on Friday. I really appreciate all the support on that. It's almost at 1,000 views now. It's at like 900, I think. Seriously, crazy support. Fisker today did close another day lower. It's kind of showing a little bit of respect to this demand line. I mean, if we use this day low and then these 3-day lows and then last Thursday, there's not too much you can do with the technicals right now. On the 4-hour, however, you do have classic bullish divergence on both oscillators. Like I said in that video, it is oversold. There's just not much of a pattern. Got a 4-hour bullish pin bar. Technically, you got a 1-hour hammer candle, but didn't really see follow through. So that's really technicals on Fisk right now. I think it's a key make or break area, pretty much sitting at around $1. And very similar, let's take a look at Lucid. Again, it's not just Fisker. Lucid has gone from 5 to 3. It looks basically like what Fisker was doing, literally here, 5 down to 3-ish, and then it started to just kind of slow down the selling, but nonetheless continue selling. And Lucid's pretty much repeating the same pattern. And this was one of my main questions over the past month to 2 months. Why is Fisker the only one selling off when most of its competitors have the same exact issues? I guess probably apart from the accounting stuff. But by the way, Fisker did hire some new people this morning. You can go check out that news yourself. But Lucid, nonetheless, I mean, same thing here. Like, Fisker went from 30 to $1. Lucid's gone from $65 to $2 pretty much. Same thing. There's not much of a pattern. I'm not going to sit here and chart this. It's a falling knife right now. Rivian as well. I mean, it's done a better job. It's only down like 28%, and I'm saying only because most of the similar names in this industry are down a lot more than 28%. I mean, this one still has a lot of chances, technically speaking. There's a very key support zone down at 15 that's still above, and there's a potential for hidden bullish divergence. But again, if we look around December 19th, pretty much all of these EVs, like I said, when we were looking at Tesla, started topping out and have gone straight down. If we take a look at NIO, which was a fan favorite from the past month that just did not do well at all, it broke. As of today, NIO broke its ultimate support at $7 that it's held literally since it got above it after the COVID crash, but it's more importantly bounced off of it twice in the past year and then today broke it on high volume. Probably relates to a lot of what I was talking about when we looked at the Hang Seng Index earlier. But very big breakdown for NIO today, and I mean, it could just be getting started right now if it's breaking that. The next level I see on NIO is 559 and then a gap fill at 470. So we are really starting to see the collapse of a lot of these EV names. Gonna leave it at that. I mean, if we're gonna do flip side now, there's a reverse split here. It looks like there was. Pot stocks had a good name today. I did see some news over the weekend about, I don't know if it was a declassification. Do not take this literally and go start doing things outside without any research as to what's legal and what's not. But from what I've seen, I don't know if it's declassification or just lowering what schedule. I don't really know how that stuff works, but there were some potential things in the works for kind of, to put it lightly, weakening the government's view on marijuana as a drug. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. But yeah, we did see some relief in pot stocks today. Little bounce off this trend line for canopy growth. Key level here is 381-ish. Sure you saw it on other names. So we take a look at ACB. Actually, this one did not participate today. About Tilray. Tilray was up 12%. So, I mean, now it's back into some supply from previous highs in the 200-day moving average, but did see some pot stocks doing well today. Max in the chat saying rescheduling of cannabis, thank you. So that's one sector of the market that did do well today. Another sector of the market that did very well today was Nvidia, which has quite literally gone straight up. Literally on Twitter on January 8th, last Monday, the second that Nvidia was breaking out of this triangle, like literally right here, I tweeted out, or I X'd out. I know Zeke's in the chat listening and waiting for that. I posted on X this breakout, and it's, I mean, Nvidia's gone up another 10% since then, another 58 points pretty much. So beautiful, and that's really good timing, Gold Miner in the chat. Beautiful move on Nvidia. We did do the fibs a couple weeks, or maybe last week on the stream. Keep in mind, Nvidia is finally nearing the 1618 fib from the top of the range to the bottom of the range it was previously in. Right, also right around the 575 area, which could be a psychological resistance. So it is overbought now. There's no bearish divergence. Volume's actually still decent. There's no bearish pattern. Just keep in mind it's approaching its first fib level. And that's really all there is to say. AMD as well. Had a great day. I saw Zeke mentioning this in the Discord earlier. And yeah, if we take a look at AMD, huge volume today. Break above its final resistance before all-time highs at 156. Your next level is 164 all-time highs, but very nice break above 133 here. And then this was really the key. It topped out at 133 over here, and it flipped it into a support over here before this pretty amazing run. And definitely it lined up with Nvidia breaking out of 500 at the same time as well. So very strong day for AMD. I don't know how MU did today. Do I have that? I do. Let's take a look at that now. MU. This is something that I'm going to move this up on my watch list actually. This is something to keep an eye on. MU, as of today, is breaking out, and this one has lagged behind Nvidia and AMD. MU is breaking out of this triangle pattern right now on the daily, okay? 86 key level, and break that, then it could replicate exactly. I mean, this looks just like Nvidia did before it ran to all-time highs on its way there. It looked just like AMD did a couple months ago. It's a very similar stock. They've historically moved very similarly over the past few years. Keep an eye on MU, I definitely will be. This swing already played out, so I guess I can take this out. A beautiful third target hit for 30% profit there. And if you want proof of what a triangle breakout on MU could do, you have a perfect example from literally November. So that's MU. I do see a couple chats on SMCI. Another similar name. This one is back testing the high from December 18th right over here. So really, I'm going to draw out a little bit of a zone here. It's a matter of, can it flip this resistance from the past few months into a support? And your next resistance is pretty much matching what I believe is your previous all-time highs. It made that top in August and then just retest that level in the beginning of this year. And then another similar name from Max in the chat, TSM. I like the higher lows here. I mean, you could stretch it to say it's a look cup and handle type of look. You could even just make it simple and call it a bull flag. So yeah, I would say it's testing a breakout. The key level is 100, just holding above that. Those resistance here, and then it flipped into support over here. So I would definitely say TSM is, or 100 is the key level on TSM to keep an eye on. And then two big movers from today that everybody's talking about. Let's start off with Save. Huge drop on Spirit Airlines. I didn't really look too much into it, but I saw something about a judge rejecting some sort of business plan. Okay, so Spirit Airlines finds itself with few options after judge blocks a deal with JetBlue. So they're looking for a buyer. And on Tuesday, they blocked a $3.8 billion merger with JetBlue. And this had something to do with, I can't find the exact word. It's on the top of my head. I just can't say it. I think it was antitrust laws or something. So they've been struggling to return to profitability, and they've been dealing with a lot of operating costs with supply chain problems. I'm sure that has a lot to do with COVID. The airline this month completed a series of sale and leaseback transactions covering dozens of planes in a bid to repay about almost $500 million of debt on those jets. So a lot of trouble, and this was kind of, like, seems from what I'm reading, a nail in the coffin for them for right now. And their backs are against the wall, so save needs to be saved. And you just actually went lower than COVID crash lows today, and actually you hit all-time lows today. I mean, technically this is a company that's sold off since 2014. I mean, what was it, Pan American? I'm sure a lot of you remember them. I'm not too caught up in American airline history, but there's a chance that my children won't know what Spirit Airlines is when they grow up, and I would argue that's not a bad thing. I don't know. Unless we have some Spirit Airlines fans in the chat. I'm sorry if I offended you. But yeah, I mean, if it breaks COVID crash lows, that's very ugly. That's really all I can say. But I haven't done any fundamental analysis on them. This is the cheapest it's ever been at all-time lows. Do your own analysis. I'm not trying to be too biased there. Anything could happen. And then on the flip side, we saw Fun have a really fun day today. Get my pun on fun. Now I'm rhyming too. Okay. So you did see a really good day today. Technically you closed above the 200-day moving average as well. And then you gave most of it back after hours. So yeah, moved up from 8 cents to almost half a dollar, and then all the way back down to 15 cents. No clue what the news is on this one, but we can take a look. What's going on with Funware stock? Shares appear to be trading higher Tuesday as traders circle the name following former President Donald Trump's convincing win in the Iowa caucus. Trump received 51% of the vote. What does this stock do, though, that relates to that? Well, they have ties to Trump dating back to 2020 when they announced that it was working on development, launch, and ongoing management of a re-election campaign. The app portfolio launched its integral piece of Trump's campaign efforts to engage digitally with supporters on mobile. So I don't know, but I'm not going to do technicals on that. I just wanted to bring it up. And then finally, Weight Watchers, very, very nice move. Without trying to show too much inside a premium right now. I wonder what swing this could be. That's the only hint you're going to get. But Weight Watchers, you can see on the 6th of this year, I did a little special featured potential put swing, showed this head and shoulders pattern, talked about the revenues and some other news, and some downgrades, a bunch of different things. And I was like, hey, if this support breaks, this is probably going straight down to $4. And that's exactly what happened. And it's down over 30% in the last 3 trading days. Really, really nice move. I know some members did very well on that. So good sell off on Weight Watchers. It's pretty much going to be it for tonight. Speaking of Weight Watchers, not that I'm watching my weight, but definitely trying to get bigger. I'm going to go to the gym now. Where was this on my wall? All right, we will do ticker requests on, what's that? We'll do ticker requests on the next stream. Thank you for watching the stream. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. See you in the Discord tomorrow. I'm not too sure if there's going to be a stream tomorrow night. It's going to be a long day for me, so we will see. But just remember everything I talked about tonight. All right, have a great night.